Steelers, Colts, this is a big game. Major playoff implications on the line. The Colts currently have the 7th seed. The Steelers have the 6th seed. They both are 7-6. Pittsburgh really needs to win this game. Shit has looked really bad for Pittsburgh the last 2 weeks. They lost to two of the worst teams in the NFL, losing to the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots back-to-back weeks. Mike Tomlin, I think it's time for him to end up finding a new job. He's not a bad head coach. He just has peaked with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Mr. Trubisky is still going to be starting in this game. Don't understand why Mike Tomlin continues to torture not just his offense, but the rest of the Steelers fan base. Mr. Trubisky isn't it. The problem with Mr. Trubisky is that he doesn't take care of the football. And when you're going up against the Indianapolis Colts, you have to be able to make sure that you don't give them extra possessions. Indianapolis is one of those teams that they're very opportunistic. And if you give them extra possessions, they're going to make you pay. When they lost to Cincinnati last week, Cincinnati only gave up one turnover, and that was that pick 6 by Jake Browning. When you can take care of the football, you don't have special teams mistakes, you're pretty much going to have a way easier time beating Indianapolis than what the Steelers possibly could have this afternoon with Trubisky and that quarterback. Trubisky is off when it comes to ball security. He had a bad interception against New England last week. The dude is clumsy. He overthrows open wide receivers. He overlooks open wide receivers. So you may be asking me, JT, how the hell do the Steelers have a chance at beating Indianapolis? Well, thankfully enough, this is a really great defense. Mainly, the defensive line is really good. Alex Highsmith, he's banged up right now, but you still do have Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, who should be more than good enough to get pressure on Gardner Minshew. Mr. Trubisky isn't good, but Gardner Minshew, he's not great neither. I'll take him over Mr. Trubisky, but you can say that the Colts have won a handful of games this year in spite of Gardner Minshew's play. He hasn't played good enough to lose the Colts too many games, but he hasn't played good enough to win the Colts more against what they already have right now. With how good this pass rush is, they should be able to affect Gardner Minshew and hopefully be able to bait him into some mistakes. That's going to be able to counter out the mistakes that Mr. Trubisky is probably going to make in this game. Neither one of these defenses are good when it comes to stopping the run. Pittsburgh's run defense hasn't been great for the majority of this season. They're 21st in the league in rushing yards per game allowed. Indianapolis, they're not too far away. They're 26th in the NFL in rushing yards per game allowed. The strength of the Steelers offense this season has been the run game. Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren have been a really good 1-2 punch since week 9. They've been fairly productive. Mike Tomlin and this offensive staff, they need to make sure that they put the ball in Mr. Trubisky's hands as least as possible when it comes to throwing the football. And that involves overly relying on Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris. Both of these dudes need to have at least 20 plus carries in this game. They need to run the ball every single time they get the opportunity to. And that maybe involves including Mr. Trubisky as part of the ground game. Mr. Trubisky, the only good thing about this dude is that he's a really good athlete. He can extend plays. He's really good with his legs. I don't understand why we don't see this dude involved on more designed quarterback runs. You know, maybe try to utilize the zone read or the read option. Get some RPOs in there. Mr. Trubisky, if there's one good trait about him, is that you know that he's going to be a major factor on the ground if his number gets called. It's just that the Steelers offensive coordinator has really utilized him on the ground. And it makes no sense because that's the only thing that he does well. You need to utilize Mr. Trubisky's legs. Not just asking him to scramble when nobody's open and he's trying to buy time for these receivers to get open. No, he needs to use his legs on designed quarterback runs, run quarterback power, quarterback draw. Just get him more involved on the ground. Maybe that can open up things a little bit more offensively. Indianapolis, they're going to be without Jonathan Taylor still. But Zach Moss is still good enough to get the job done. He's been good and really productive for the Colts all season long. With the injuries that the Steelers have had at linebacker, this should be a game where both of these teams could potentially have a lot of success running the football, which means that ball security is going to be at a premium. Whoever wins the time of possession battle is most likely going to end up on the winning end of things. I got to go with Pittsburgh to get the win. The reason why I'm taking Pittsburgh is because they got a great defense. Indianapolis defense is not that good. Indianapolis is a team that takes advantage when you give them added opportunities. If you can take care of the football, maybe if Mr. Trubisky only has one turnover, that could be good enough for the Steelers to get the job done. With the Colts' run defense being as bad as what it is, I expect for the Steelers' offense to have success moving the football compared relative to what they've done the past 2 weeks against the Patriots and the Cardinals. The Patriots had a really good run defense. They got a really good front seven. Indianapolis doesn't have that same kind of ability to shut down the run, and that's what the Steelers do best. As long as the Steelers can have success on the ground with Najee and Jaylen Warren, you're not going to need Mr. Trubisky to do too much. Gardner Minshew, he's not worse than Mr. Trubisky. I definitely would take him over Mitch any day of the week, but you can't trust him to take care of the football neither. And against the Steelers defense that's really good at getting after the quarterback and forcing turnovers and really big moments, I trust Pittsburgh to get the win. And one thing about Mike Tomlin that I do give him credit for, although the Steelers do play down the competition very often under him, he does a really good job at having this game ready to play in big must-win games. And it doesn't get any bigger than this game this week against Indianapolis. If they lose, they could find themselves on the outside looking in of the playoffs. I already thought that they were going to be on the outside looking in after they lost to New England, but they got bailed out due to Houston's surprising loss to the New York Jets. But there's still a chance that with this loss, the Steelers' playoff hopes could pretty much go down the drain. And I already don't believe that this is going to be a playoff team. But I do believe that Mike Tomlin can have this team playing good enough football where they can get a bounce back win and a really big spot against Indianapolis.